Very good evening to all of you, dear students. Today we are going to learn about the meaning and nature of a teaching. Before going to the concept, just I want to introduce to all of you. This is a channel basically for the honor students, DKP Edu Plus channel, and I will up to date each and every paper in every day, trying to giving to my best in this particular YouTube channel. Dear students, let's move to learn the concept of a teaching and the nature of a teaching. Basically, this is more important concepts, and a basic sometimes in exam also this particular question is also coming. What you understand the teaching and what are the nature of the teaching? It is most important concepts. Let's move. Try to understand the concept or the meaning of the teaching, and let's move for that particular concept. Then first of all, I want to say to all of you, my dear students, the what is teaching? It's very simple things. I want to make it simple in front of all of you and listening to me. And if you are not unable to understand my concepts, you can also sharing to me through in the chat box. Dear friends, whenever I'm talking about teaching, and in a general sense, teaching means it's the activity of the teacher with the teachers done inside the classroom. That means for your clarity, you can look to the slide also. Teaching is the task of the teacher which performed for the development of his students. One thing I want to say to all of you here, remember all of you here, and if possible, you can write in your copy also. Difference whenever I'm telling teaching is the task of a teacher. Difference whenever you are thinking about the teacher, they're inside the classroom, the teacher performing so many tasks. And if you are going to analyzing the teacher's tasks, I can say the teacher coming to the classroom, introducing the lesson. Then after the introduction, then the teacher is also in the process of explaining the concepts. And while explaining the concept also, the teacher also giving some example. And during explanation, teacher also showing some teaching activity, some teaching skill also. From this, that means that as a teacher, you are doing lot of tasks inside the classroom. The basic objective is only one, the development of the child. That means from this, I am so much clear. The teaching is the task of a teacher which performed for the development of students. I think so. All of you clear this first two lines. Anyway, try to write down in your copy. Then let's move for the second statements. If you are talking about teaching, the teaching refers to the activities that are designed and performed to produce desired changes in the people's behavior. Difference here, I want to say to all of you teaching refers to the activities. Normally in a classroom situation, and if you are going to analyze the teacher's activity, I can say in this way, the teacher's activity is going to be divided into three stages. The first stage is the pre-activity, second one is the interactivity, third one is the post-activity. These are the three major activities done by the teacher. And if you are talking about pre-activity, before coming to the classroom, teacher having the preparation, teaching coming with the teaching points, that is known as the pre-activity. During the interactivity, teacher explaining the concept inside the classroom. Post-activity means before leaving the classroom, the teacher putting some question in order to know how far the instructional objective have been achieved by the students. That means this three activity done by a teacher, only reason is only one. That is bring desirable change in the behavior of the students. That means from this I can say here, whenever the teachers transacting the curriculum and whenever the teachers transacting the curriculum inside the classroom, it brings corresponding changes within the students. For this reason, we can say teaching refers to the activities that are designed and performed to produce desired changes in the people's behavior. Let's move. Difference. One thing I want to say to all of you here: don't be don't be in the hurry, and we should go the concept in a slow way by which everybody can able to understood. For your clarity, it's better we can look for the definition of a teaching. Let's see some definition by which you are in a position to write down the concept in a very that means so easily. Let's move the definition one after another. Try to understand each definition. And if any problem, you can share your thought, your idea, your confusion, whatever you are thinking about the concept. You can share me in the chat box. I can reply it in the next class, next time. Difference, if we're talking about the definition of a teaching, I want to say to all of you, the first definition is a wonderful definition which is given by the Morrison. Difference, according to Morrison, teaching is an intimate contact. One thing I want to say to all of you, the first word, intimate contacts. That means intimate contact means what? Intimate contact means it is a close relationship between the student and the teacher. That means whenever if you're going to teaching, there must be a good rapport in between the students and the teacher. That means if you're looking to the Morrison definition, you can I want to say to all of you here, teaching is an intimate contact between more mature personality and a less mature one. That means if you're talking about to more mature personality, I can say here more mature personality means the teacher is a person who is more mature, and at the same time in the counterpart, if you are looking to the student is less mature one. That means from this you are so much clear that according to Morrison, teaching is a wonderful activity, or it is a intimate contacts in between the student and the teacher. And according to Morrison, teacher is a person who is fully mature. That means the person who is taking responsibility inside the classroom. That particular person is more mature, more experienced, and also having more knowledge, and also having the master of the contents. From this point of view, teacher, no doubt, teacher is a more mature personality. At the same time, if we're talking about the students, there's no doubt student is a less mature one. From this, I think so, this definition is so much clear. This definition is really wonderful. I hope everybody can remember this particular words. For your clarity, we can move the another definition. Difference, don't be hurry. I'm going very slowly. Write down each and every definition, listening to properly what I'm sharing here, then you are in a position to understand. Let's move the definition which is given by the Jackson. Difference, according to this particular person, teaching is a face-to-face encounter in between two or more persons. Or you can say in this way, teaching is a face-to-face relationship between two or more person. That means you can say that means it may be two persons or the more persons. Basically, I can say, I want to make it simple. Teaching is a face-to-face encounter in between the student and teacher. Teacher is a single person and the students are the more persons. Acha. One of whom the teacher. That means from this it is clear that one person is the teacher and the second person is the students. Then from this you are so much clear. If you want to going to make it so easy, I can say in this way, according to Jackson, teaching is a face-to-face. It is a face-to-face encounter in between the student and the teacher. You have to remember these particular things. It is a face-to-face encounter in between the students and the teacher. Let's move the another definition which is given by the John Dewey. Difference, I hope all of you know the better the John Dewey. It is the philosopher. The John Dewey is a philosopher. That particular person is also giving his one view about the teaching. Teaching is learning as selling is to buying. That means here one person acting as the seller role, one person is acting as the role of the buyer role. That means as a teacher, you are selling the concepts inside the classroom. The students are the consumer. They are ready to buy that particular concepts. That means whatever you are teaching, it should reach at the students in a very positive way. From this, I am so much clear. According to John Dewey, and a very, very interesting definition, the teaching is a selling and buying concepts. I hope all of you remember. Difference, let's move for the definition which is given by the Smith. It is, I think so, it's a very interesting definition. If we are talking about this particular definition, teaching is a system of action intended to induce the learning. One thing remember, whenever I am talking about the teaching, no doubt it is a set of action of a teacher. Yes, it is a set of action. Now a question is, what is the set of action? Set of action means we understood as a teacher, I am doing what? As a teacher, I am doing so many things inside the classroom. Suppose explaining the concept, that is also one action. And moving from one place to the another place, that is also another action. Putting some question to the students, that is also another action. And also stimulating to each students in order to maintain the interest inside the classroom. That is one of the most important action. That means whatever that as a teacher I am doing action inside the classroom, it may be my lecturing, it may be my moving, it may be my interaction with my students, it may be my questioning to the students, whatever the activity, all the activity, only one thing they want, that means to induce the learner's learning process. And from this I am so much clear. According to Smith, if you are going to make it more simple, it is a process. It is no doubt teaching is a process, or teaching is a system of action which done by the teacher and that particular action should responsible for maximizing the learner's learning process. In this way I can say, and this is the definition of the teaching. I hope all of you are able to remember. Dear friends, let's move some other things are also there. If you want to be a successful teacher, and if you want to be making the concept more clear, I know it is a YouTube. There is I'm not in front of all of you, by which you can able to understand better. Try to listen my class in a positive way. Try to what I'm sharing in the YouTube. Try to listen it properly. And while you are listening to me, you can also write the concept also. Listen properly. Then you are in a position to understand. If there is any problem, you can share me in the message box also, and you can ask me question also there. And day by day, I can improve the class. Anyway, dear friends, for your conceptual clarity, you should look to the nature of a teaching. Dear friends, one thing I want to say to all of you, if whenever you are going to write down the nature of something else, that means if you know the nature, then you are in a position to understand the concept in a better way. Let's move, and after the analysis of the number of a definition, we are in a position to understand the nature of a teaching. Let's move the one after another. You have to discuss here. Let's see how the teaching is. We will have a try to understand and try to clarify. Difference, my first nature I'm saying that nature of a teaching I'm here I'm sharing. Teaching is a complex activity, or teaching is a complex. Now a question arises. How come the teaching is complex? Now a question arises. Maybe this particular things is coming to the mind of each and everyone. And sir, how come the teaching is complex one? Difference I'm sharing to all of you. Teaching is going to be complex because the number of things are there. Whenever you are in a classroom, you are thinking about number of things. The first thing is coming to you, which one thing I want to say to all of you, whenever you are in the classroom, you are thinking about how to teach and what to teach and what material you want to use in your teaching process. That means number of things is coming to you. While you are teaching inside the classroom, teaching makes us the use of various techniques or the skills. While you are teaching inside the classroom, that means you are using number of a skill. You can talk about the skill of a questioning. You can talk about the skill of a classroom management. You can talk about the skill of a explanation. You can talk about the skill of a blackboard use. You can talk about the skill of a stimulus variation. That means number of a skill also there. And while you are teaching, you are trying to maintaining all the skill. Not only you are maintaining the skill, but also you are also thinking which method of a teaching is most suitable for this contents. And whenever you are thinking about the method of teaching, number of a method of teaching is also there. You can think about the storytelling methods. You can think about the dramatization methods. You can think about the demonstration method. You can think about the problem solving method. Number of a method is there. No doubt, whenever there is a teaching skill, then various teaching methods. After the various teaching method, whenever you are thinking about making your teaching learning process more interesting, you are also thinking about the teaching aids. Because if there is no aid, it's not so easy to teach. That means teaching also makes use of such media as audio-visual media, printed media, or electronic media. You can also thinking about these particular things. You are also which media you want to use. Success in teaching to great extent depends upon selection the use of the appropriate technique, method, and media. From this, I want to say to all of you, if you are going to making teaching or teaching is going to be more success, you have to keep in mind you should know which skill when you needs. You should know which method of teaching is best fitted for the which group of the students. You should know which material is best suitable for your contents. Whenever all the things is coming simultaneously, I think so. Teaching is no doubt it is a complex activity. Yes, teaching is a complex activity. From this, I think everybody clear how the teaching is complex activity. For your clarity, you can move the another thing also. The teaching is an interactive. The teacher is an interactive process. The thing, what friends, I want to say to all of you, the success and the failure of a teaching depends upon interactive process of the classroom teaching. Try to listen to me. That means the success and failure. That means how much your teaching is going to be success and how much your teaching is going to be failure. That depends upon the way you are interacting with your student inside the classroom. Normally, it is an interactive process in between the student and teacher. No doubt, whenever we are talking about classroom teaching, no doubt the success of the teaching and success of the and the failure of a teaching always depends upon student and teacher's interaction. Normally, in a classroom situation, the interaction occurring in three ways, such as teacher and class, teacher and students, student and students. These are the three basic way of the interaction, and if there is a interaction is more, I think the classroom is going to be more success. If there is no interaction inside the classroom, the teaching is going to be passive in nature. Students are going to be sleep. Their students are feeling sleepy. If you want the students they are feeling sleepy, your classroom is going to be in a dead manner, and I think you are not a successful teacher if you are not making teaching interactive. From this we are so much clear teaching is an interactive process. Let's move for the next points. Difference, if you are going to the next point, I want to say to all of you, teaching is both arts as well as the science. Difference, this particular concept is very much interesting. How come it is a science and how come it is a arts? Let's move, try to understand. First of all, I want to say to all of you, teaching as a science. Teaching as a science, it deals with the techniques, procedure, skills that can be systematically studied and described and improved. And one thing I want to say to all of you, how come the teaching is going to be scientific things? I want to say to all of you, scientific means what? Scientific means a step-by-step process. The thing whenever you want to be done the activity in a step-by-step process, then you can say that is scientific in nature. In our teaching process, teacher also doing the step-by-step process, because the teacher coming to the classroom, first of all teacher putting some introductory question inside the classroom. After taking this answer from the students, the teacher declaring the subject matter in the whiteboards. After that, teacher that means the teacher first doing the introduction activity, then the teacher doing the presentation activity, then the teacher doing the evaluation activity. From this, we are so much clear. Teaching is no doubt it is a science in nature. In the other hands, if we are talking about teaching is a art also. How come teaching is arts? Teaching is art. It is called the existence of talent and the creativity. One thing remember, whenever I'm telling the teaching is art, that means the presentation style of a teacher. Suppose one teacher presenting in a way, the another teacher is also going to present this, the concept, the same concepts. That means the presentation style of the teacher vary from the presentation style is vary from teacher to teacher. From this, we are so much clear. Teaching is also art in nature. Let's move for the next point. So we'll go for the next point. Difference, if you're talking about the teaching, I want to coming back to the next the next nature of the teaching. Teaching is a psychological process. Difference, I think so. All of you so clear. Until and unless if the teacher and students both are not psychologically ready, nothing is going to happen. From this, we are so much clear. The better teaching learning process is going to happen inside the classroom if the teacher is psychologically ready and student is psychologically ready. Now a question is arise. What is psychological readiness? That means all the psychological aspects of the students should be perfect, and all the psychological aspects of the teacher should be perfect. The psychological aspects includes the interest, attitudes, aptitudes, intelligence, willingness, creativity, personality, health and mental health. From this we are so much clear. The success and the failure of the teaching depends upon the psychological aspect of both the student and the teacher. Difference, I think so all of you feeling bored because it is already the video is going to be very long, but I'm trying to complete this particular things because yeah, whenever the students they are in listening and they're also in a position, they're also trying to complete the nature. From this I'm so much clear. Let's move and have a patience, and we'll complete the nature of the teaching today. Difference, maybe it is feeling boring because while you are listening in the while you are listening and the teacher is not in front of all of you, but if you listening my explanation in a very aggressive in intentional listening, I think so you can able to understand what I'm sharing through YouTube. Or anyway, let's move. Till now we already discussed how teaching is an interactive process, how teaching is a complex activity, and how it is a psychological in nature. Let's see the another things I want to say to all of you. Teaching is a communication process. Difference, it is more interesting things. How come the teaching is a communication process? Before I'm going to the teaching as is a communication process, just I'm sharing to all of you what is communication process. Difference, if we're talking about the communication process, I can say in this way, it is a process by which one person can share his feelings, thoughts, attitude, idea to another. Difference I want to now because we are concerned here how teaching is a communicative process or how teaching is a communication process. Difference if you look into the communication process having four major basic elements such as the sender, receiver, message and feedback. In teaching process, in our teaching process, the teacher acting as the role of the sender, students were playing the role of the receiver, whereas curriculum or the content working as the message in between the sender and the receiver. I think so. Till now, we are so clear. And in this teaching process, the teacher are always taking concern from the students whether they understood or not to the contents. That is known as feedback. That means I want to say to all of you, all the basic four elements of the communication process. That is also very much related to our teaching process. If you look into the teaching process, teacher acting the role of the sender because as a sender, I am sending lot of information inside the classroom to my student teachers, my students community. At the same time, the students are acting the role of the receiver. Whatever I am sending information, the students are trying to accurate. They want to accurate in their acquisition process. Now a question arises: the message. If we are talking about the message, I think so. As a teacher, whatever I am sharing, as a teacher, I am transacting the curriculum inside the classroom. That particular curriculum is known as the message for that particular time. And now the fourth element, I think so. Everybody knows that the feedback. As a teacher, while after my explanation, I always taking concern from my students' community. Have you understood the points? Whenever the students are telling, yes sir, we understood, as a teacher, we are moving towards the forward, we are going to the forward or we are going for the next points. That is known as the feedback. From this, we are so much clear, teaching is a communication process. I hope all of you understood. Whenever you are listening, try to write down the concept in a very systematic way in your copy. Because it is very initially I am preparing the video, and day by day I can improve all the things in a very systematic way for your interests. Until I think so, you can follow to me and you can able to understand to me till now whatever I am sharing here. Difference if you are talking about teaching, the next nature I want to say to all of you, if you are coming back to the teaching is an informative process, I can say in this way, no doubt teaching is a informative process. As a teacher, while you are inside the classroom, I think so you are sending a lot of information to the young minds. That young minds means the students. Teaching is an informative process here. The teacher sharing the maximum information to the students in order to making students knowledge up to date. No doubt, this is the task of a teacher to making the students knowledge up to date. Teacher sharing in the information related to curricula. Teacher sharing information related to curricula related information, co-curricular related information, extracurricular activities. During sharing the information, the teacher presented the information in a simple to complex manner. Dear friends, I want to say to all of you, whenever you are sending the information to the students community, you have to keep in mind one thing, that information must be must be arranged in a simple to complex manner by which the students they can able to remember, they can able to understand the concept or information so easily. Difference, let's move for the another things I want to say to all of you. Teaching is a tripolar process. Difference, if you are looking to the teaching is a tripolar process, that from this I am so much clear. No doubt this is also one of the most important characteristics of the teaching. Yes, teaching is a tripolar process. Tri means what? Tri means three. That means there are the three basic poles are there. Who are they? The first one is the students, second one is the teacher, and third one is the environments. And if you're talking about these three things, I want to say to all of you, if you're going to analyze the word students, I can say in this way. By the word students, or you can say the learner, individually or collectively conference inside the classroom on whose behalf total educational program exists and operates. And this is the students. At the same time, if you're talking about the teacher, normally if you're going to analyzing the teacher is a person who take the responsibility for teaching inside the classroom. And student, teacher and environments. These three things need to be ready for the better teaching learning process. Suppose, I can give a best example to all of you here. Teacher is ready, student is ready, but environment is not supporting to us. How come you can able to study? I think so there is no teaching learning process. Environment is ready, student is ready, but the teacher is not ready to teach. The learning or teaching is not going to be happen. From this we are so much clear. The better teaching is going to be happen when students, teacher and environments they are working together. Anyway, I think so this particular characteristics of teaching I think well understood by each one. I think so. Let's move for the next one. Dear friends, let's move for the next one. I want to show. I want to say to all of you here, teaching is formal as well as informal. How come the teaching is formal? How come the teaching is informal? Let's see. Try to understand how come it's formal. In a very brief, I want to say to all of you, teaching become formal when it takes place in a regular classroom. That means whenever the teaching takes place in the classroom, it's formal in nature. Now your question arises, sir, why it is formal in nature? One thing I want to say to all of you, whenever the thing is very much systematic in nature, that is formal. In a classroom, the teacher teaching in a systematically. For this reason, it is known as, no doubt, teaching is a formal in nature. The teaching outside of the school is known as informal, which is mostly dominated by the instruction. The friends, whatever the whatever. Anyway, I think so. It is clear. It is both formal as well as informal. Let's see. The teaching is a cooperative activity. Dear friends, if you are going to these particular points, I want to say to all of you, until and unless the student and the teacher, if they are not cooperating to each other, I think so, there is no teaching learning process. The success and the failure of a teaching always depends upon the students' cooperation and the teachers' cooperation. Teaching is a cooperative activity and teachers should involve the students in the different classroom activities such as organization, management, discussion and recitation. But anyway, these are the things you have to remember. Teaching is also a cooperative activity. Okay, let's move. How come the teaching is another nature I want to say to all of you. Maybe you're feeling bored, but you listen to me properly, then you can able to complete the question very easily. Then you can able to understand the concept so nicely. Difference, the teaching can be direct or indirect. Teaching may be direct, teaching may be indirect. How come the teaching is direct and how come the teaching is indirect? Difference, if you are looking to this particular things I want to say to all of you. As a teacher, use such method as lecture method, question answer method, demonstration methods. In this particular method, students engage the students in face-to-face interaction. Teachers are teaching the students directly. That means here both the student and teacher, they are facing to each other. There is a teaching because these are the methods. At the same time, if you are thinking about activity methods like role play, projects, assignments, unitary, or other such activities, teachers are teaching the students indirectly. That means from this particular teaching may be direct, teaching may be indirect, and I think from this particular things is so much clear from this particular slides. That means whenever as a teacher, suppose I am inside the classroom, I am in a question answer section. I am putting the question to my students community. They are replying the answer to me. That means it's a face-to-face interaction. That in this particular case, I can say it is a teaching is direct in nature. As a teacher, if I am given some activity to my students, I can take the most example to the role play. Whenever there is a role play, in that particular case, the teaching is indirect. In that particular case, teaching is indirect. But anyway, let's move for the another points. I think so. The video is going to be so long. I can cover the remaining points in the next class. Thank you to all of you, and I have try to understand all the concept in a systematic way. And next time we will have remaining points. I will discuss it inside the classroom.